So let's start off with the positives. What do you think the positives are in having a good father figure or having society of good father figures?
Well, we do know statistically that single mother homes, or where there's absence of fathers, there's an increase in everything from obesity to disease to incarceration to depression to drug abuse to all the bad stuff. If you look at the statistics, generally come from the rot of the family, from the breakdown of the family, from feminism, essentially, because that's what brought in this divide to fracture the family. So, the very first thing we have to consider is that a society cannot hold itself together, cannot be a virtuous society, cannot be a good society if there are not strong families. And we cannot have strong families if we do not have strong fathers. And we're suffering the repercussions of this right now. In every instance that there was a mass shooting, in America, you got all these mass shootings. The media pumps this stuff up. Every instance, one thing has in common is that the boys were fatherless and they were raised in daycare. So it's not only the fatherlessness, but when there's fatherlessness, there's motherlessness, because then the state becomes the daddy. Then care for the children and for the family, rearing of the family, gets outsourced to strangers, essentially. And so we got to make a comeback. You got to make a comeback to good families. And the way good families are going to make a comeback is by having strong men. Women can't do it. It's not their responsibility. It's not their place to do it. It's up to us.
Just completely unfair to expect the mom to be the mom and the dad, and to expect a child to look at a woman and take fatherly advice from her. It doesn't make sense. I just want to
Just
back
the
up that
advice,
point.
but the mirroring, right? Like men know how to be men only when we're in the presence of men. We can't, because there's mirror neurons. We have to be able to see it, right? If I've never seen, never been in the presence of, never interacted with a strong alpha male leader, I'm not even going to know how to. First of all, I will never know that in myself. But if I see one, I'm not going to even know what to do with that guy. I had this one kid in my King Transformation program last night. We were talking. It was pretty cool. He grew up in his home with just his mother and his sisters. And he's clever. He figures some stuff out. He knows it. Like, something's not right here. Well, this week he went to Tennessee to go stay with his uncle for a little bit. And his uncle is like alpha male. His uncle's a good man. He's and his wife is a submissive wife. He's got a good wife. And so he called me from there yesterday, and I was talking to him. He's like, I've never seen this before. Like the way my uncle carries himself and the respect that his wife has for him and the way the children speak to him. I was like, this is like mind blowing to me. And he was trying to explain to me, like, now I get it. Now I kind of understand some of the things you're talking about because I can see it. But if you've never seen that, and you're not going to see it on the TV, you're not going to hear about it on the music. The media is totally degenerate. So the minute they see, and what typically happens is the minute they do, if they're not open, if they don't recognize there's a problem, a lot of times they'll reject, that man. That's why they call it toxic. They'll reject any kind of a strong alpha male, masculine man. Immediately it's like, oh, get him away from me. That's a bad man.
Anhel, do you guys have anything to add to this? I know you guys.
Yeah, I was gonna
passionate about it.
say that just to add on to what you said, Elliot, where it's like we need to have that strong man, and if you don't have, if a kid is fatherless, then he's also motherless, and like, man, I think that rings true because speaking from myself, I love my mom. I love my mom just like I'm sure most other people will say they love their mom as well. But you know what? Like my mom tried to be there, but she was going through her own thing because her and her husband got divorced, my dad at the time.
Right.
And then her just kind of going through that, but then trying to be there for us and then also trying to talk to other men, trying to get out into the playing field again, and then bringing a guy who doesn't give two shits about me or my sister.
Right.
Like that's where like things start getting the lines start getting blurred, and that's what happens to a lot of people as well, where it's like if they happen to have a dude come into their life like a stepfather, like 9 times out of 10, that stepfather is pretty abusive, pretty toxic. If you know what I mean.
I could imagine, because it's not your kids. You shouldn't be boning that woman anyway, right? I don't think it's, and this is just my opinion. I'm not calling anybody out, but I don't see why any man would get involved with a woman that has children. She should be with her husband. They should figure it out. That's just my opinion. They should figure it out. And if they can't, and she needs to be, and this is the same thing for men too. I don't think it's right for men to be hopping from wife to wife. Then you stay alone. If you can't figure it out with one woman, then you know what it means? It means you need to figure it out. You need to figure this out on yourself. You need to be by yourself. And you even, because of the failure in your family in that way, you need to allow yourself to pay the penance, pay the price, mortify yourself a little bit by not getting back into the pleasure of having, another partner, right? Because a lot of times that quote unquote partner is just somebody that they're going to project their neediness on and, get their rocks off on. And if that person has a family, or if you have a family yourself, you're not doing any service to the children. You're just making it worse. That's my opinion.